Hey, what's up and welcome everyone to another Warzone Academy video, the series dedicated to helping you become a better Warzone player through in-depth guides and gameplay. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all the settings that you need to be using in Season 6 to get the best performance out of your PC. We're going to start off with control settings, talking about your controller settings and your keyboard and mouse settings for best performance. On top of that, we're going to go into our in-game graphics settings, our Windows settings, our Nvidia control panel settings, and then I'm going to tell you how you can get the color settings that I've been using. And it's not Nvidia filters. Stop using Nvidia filters with the recent update, and just overall, it is going to tank your FPS. There's a better alternative that I'm going to discuss at the end of today's video. If you guys enjoy this style of video, please, I spent a lot of time working on this video. Do me a favor, drop a fat like on this video, subscribe if you're enjoying the Warzone Academy. And before we get into it, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Keeps. For those of you that don't know, Keeps is your number one-stop shop for all things balding and hair loss prevention. Now, I'm starting to see a little bit of hair loss on my end. In fact, 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the age of 35. And I'm not sure if it's because of Warzone or if it's because of genetics, but fortunately, Keeps has the only 2 FDA-approved drugs to help prevent balding and hair loss prevention. Now, the key word there is prevent, right? Once you've started to lose it, it's kind of tough to get it back. So if you want a free online consultation, no awkward in-person visits, all done online, shipped directly to you, check out keeps.com/Icemanisaac. That'll be linked in the pinned comment and in the description. Once again, keeps.com/Icemanisaac. That is KEEPS.com, and that'll get you 50% off your first order as well. Huge thank you to them once again for sponsoring today's video and sponsoring so many videos in the past as well. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. What we're going to talk about first is our actual controls. So a lot of people have asked me, I'm a hybrid player. I now compete on controller, but I was one of the most earned competitors on keyboard and mouse as well. So we're going to talk real quick about the controller settings. This is what I'm using now. Dead zone, you're going to change that based off your controller. You basically want that as low as you can possibly get it without your stick moving. You shouldn't base your dead zone off of your favorite streamer. Keep bumping that thing down until you notice your stick starts to drift without an input. Bump it up a couple, and that's where you want to keep it. I rock 6.6.8. A lot of pros rock this. 6.6.8 dynamic. Dynamic allows me to move as quickly as I need to. I can really snap around a corner quick, but it still gives me that fine-tuning aim. If you want to learn more about aim response type curves, JGod has a whole bunch of videos. This is simply what I use. I use standard aim assist, scaled aim assist, disabled. I know so many people say use enabled, but all the big pros, me, and I say pros in parentheses, all the sweats, me, Aiden, Biffle, Repulse, Lucky, everyone that I know uses disabled, so trust me on that one. That's really the big things there. Obviously, we want to make sure we are applying all of our armor plates, make sure we are tap for slide behavior. That way we slide cancel a lot quicker, and then I use automatic tactical sprint. Or keyboard and mouse. Everything here is all up to you. Do what's comfortable for you in terms of ergonomics and keybinds. I'm not going to talk about that. I will talk about one thing, and it is setting the correct sensitivity. For me, every single game, I have the exact sensitivity, and it is when I do one swipe with my arm, that is a 180. I dial in my sensitivity perfect for every new game that I play, because I sit in the lobby, I swipe once, swipe again, and I should be looking at the exact same spot. Have some sort of system like that for yourself to where you know, hey, if I move my mouse this set amount across my mouse pad, it should be moving X distance. That's how I set up all my controller, or that's how I set up all of my sensitivity, and it works great. Other little thing, make sure when you go into your mouse settings, you just go into mouse, you just type in down here, type in mouse settings, go into additional mouse options. Please make sure you have enhanced pointer precision turned off. Otherwise, that's mouse acceleration. It's going to make your aim extremely inconsistent. Make sure you have that turned off. Okay, so let's get into actual in-game settings right now. So in-game settings, make sure you're full screen. That's the most efficient. All of this is going to be set up per your specific display. I have my render resolution set to 100. If you're really struggling for FPS, you can bring that down, but I like to keep it at a base 100, whether it's 1440p or 1080p. From there, keep VSync disabled. Custom frame rate, I have set to unlimited. Nvidia highlights, you want that disabled. You don't want that running in the background because that will take up processing power. Nvidia Reflex Low Latency, put enabled plus boost. It's going to put a little bit more of a power draw, but it's always going to make sure that your GPU is there ready to crank out the next frame. I've done plenty of videos on this on the past. It also helps out with your reaction time. It helps out with the render delay. Keep it on enabled plus boost. It's one of the most important settings you can have. From there, some people put on streaming quality. I have mine set to normal, right? Because I want my game to look a little bit better. You can throw yours to low if you're struggling with FPS. Texture resolution, don't go all the way down to very low. Personally, I would just keep mine at low if you're going for max FPS. But I like my game to look good for you all, so I keep mine at high. That's probably one of the few things you're going to want to have different. If you really want max FPS, go ahead and throw it to low. Very low, there's not much of a benefit there. From there, texture filter, keep that high. It's actually better for your game to keep it high. Same thing with particle quality. You have higher FPS if you keep it on high. Bullet impacts and sprays, you're going to take a little bit of an FPS hit, but I like to have this just because I like to spray emotes. You can spray people in the gulag and they're going to show up bright red. It's worth it. Tessellation, I have disabled. On-demand texture streaming, you can have that high. I do because I like my game to look better. But you can also throw it all the way to disabled if you want. Just know that if you keep it on high quality, it is going to cause you FPS. But I like my game to look good for you also. It's a content creator sacrifice I make. And I also have a 3090. So adjust accordingly. Everything else here, all low, especially ray tracing. Have that disabled. You are going to torch your FPS. Everything else here is low. Filmic Strength, I have all the way to 0. DLSS, have this disabled. And not only has it messed up your aim in the past, like your crosshairs will be matched with where you're actually shooting in game. DLSS right now isn't in a good spot in Warzone. Don't enable it. Anti-Aliasing, I have SMA 2 times to make my game look better. You can, if you want, turn it all the way off. Just know that your game is going to look a little jagged. It's not going to look super clean. If you have it set to off, you're going to want to set your Filmic Strength to 100. So if the anti-aliasing option is not set to SMA 2 times, so off, set this to 1 to avoid visual noise. Me, I have it on 2 times, so I want to set it to 0. If it's off, set it to 1, all the way to the right. If it's on, set it all the way to the left. Sweet. Depth of field, turn it off. Motion blur, off. Film grain, off. Dynamic resolution, do not touch. So that's all of the in-game things that you should be changing. I don't think I had any unsafe changes. Field of view, I like to have mine all the way. And then brightness, I bump up to about 55. Some people do 60 as well, just to get a little bit more look inside of the dark areas. Okay, so let's talk about a few things that you can change in your Windows settings as well. So just click on your Windows icon and type in power. And you can go into your power and sleep settings. Then go into additional power settings and do something. Make sure it's not balanced. If you're going for max performance, set it to, I have ultimate performance, or you can set high performance, etc. Just make sure you're setting something along those lines. Then go in here and you can type in game. Go into game mode. Game mode on is fine. It used to be bad. Make sure it is on game mode, but have game bar turned off. Also, last thing you can do on this setting is go to that little setting right there for graphics settings and turn on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Now, if you're doing like a single PC setup, it can cost you, it can hurt you a little bit. But if you're solely gaming on the PC, which most people are, most of us aren't streamers, just rock this on. It's going to actually improve your performance. Okay, next, we're going to go into our NVIDIA control panel. To do that, just right-click on your desktop and click NVIDIA control panel. If you don't have that, that most likely means you don't have GeForce Experience installed or you don't have your latest graphics drivers installed. Now, if you have an AMD, I can't help you out here, but if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, make sure to go onto the NVIDIA site, download GeForce Experience, and download the drivers so you are up to date on the most recent drivers. This is a huge thing that you need to be doing. A lot of guides out there on how to update your drivers. But if you're running on old drivers, it's basically NVIDIA working with Warzone to make sure that your graphics card is talking to the game correctly and running at the most efficient way possible. Otherwise, you may be operating on drivers that came out before Warzone ever came out. So make sure you update your drivers. Go into your control panel. Change resolution. Make sure your refresh rate is actually what your monitor is. So I've got the Alienware 240 hertz 1440p, but some people like Joe Woe for some reason had his on 60 hertz. So he had a super nice monitor and was running on 60 hertz instead of 240. From there, I rock the highest color bit, 8 BPC. You can get 10 if you're lucky, depending on your monitor. RGB, and then output the full dynamic range. But what you really want to adjust here is all the way at the top at 3D settings. Make sure you use the advanced 3D image settings. And then I'm not going to go into all the weeds here. There are people who can help you go into that. But the main thing that I check right here is make sure for power management mode, it is on prefer maximum performance. Yes, you're going to feel it in your electric bill, maybe by a couple cents, but it's totally worth it for getting the maximum performance out of your game. So there are some things in here. And the thing that you guys most likely are really wanting to know about is how do I get my colors, my sharpness, everything beautiful like I have in game. I wish I could show you, but it would do a disservice to the service that set me up. So a buddy of mine named Foves, he's actually active duty military like myself. He's an enlisted dude trying to build a business for himself. And he set me up free of charge. And he set up guys like Aiden, Huskers. He works with all. He is the best in the business. He has set up a special deal for members of the Academy. Now, let me explain what's going on exactly. He will go through. He will get your exact specs. He will learn everything about your system. Will hand go through and do everything that I just did, and then so much more. He'll go into your BIOS. He'll make sure all of your RAM timings, etc., are correct. Or he's going to tell you, let's say you have a $2,000 PC, but there's, you know, some $200 part that you could buy. Like for me, it was RAM. My RAM speeds were way too low. He will custom pick individual parts that are going to improve your performance. That's going to be the best bang for your buck. On top of that, he's going to custom, like, go through all of your settings, all of your timings. He's going to stress test everything. If you spent good money on your PC, I promise you, even if it's pre-built, unfortunately, pre-built, custom, you know, tailored experiences are actually pretty terrible. They don't actually set your builds up right. There's only a handful that actually set you up. Foves will treat you right, and he's going to treat the Academy right. Normally, it's $120 to optimize your PC, which is frankly cheaper than most of the competitors out there. For Academy members, if you tell him, it'll be linked in the description. Go to Foves' Twitter, tell him you're coming from the Academy. He's going to give you $20 off. I don't receive any of that. I don't receive any kickback. I want to help the man grow his business, continue his dream outside of the Air Force. I'm helping you guys out. He's helping you guys out by getting $20 off. So if you want to learn, not only, or if you want help getting maximum frames out of your PC, if you want help getting, you know, everything perfectly in terms of best bang for your buck with new performance, and then most importantly, the filters, but not actual filters that destroy your FPS, but a clever way of getting beautiful colors, sharp lines in game. The Foves filters is what he calls them. Check out the man in the Twitter. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. Subscribe if you want to see more. I really wish I could show you what I'm using right now, but it would be a disservice to the brand that he's building. I hope you guys understand why I can't show you that. It would be a robbery of him. But I do want to shout him out. He's a good dude trying to grow a business, and want to help him out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want more information about all the best games, guides, guns, and strategies for all things Warzone. Make sure subscribe to my second channel, the Warzone Academy, Icemanisaac Academy. We're going to be doing more coaching over there. Big picture guides are going to happen here. Jump spots, graphic settings, coaching. But coaching every single day is going to start happening on the second channel, so make sure you are subscribed there as well. That'll be linked at the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.